beim ersten Spiel ist Kirk, the Calculator Bevans. Viel Spaß beim ersten Spiel des heutigen Abends.
Saturday night, the Ostermann Arena in Leverkusen, just opposite the Bayer Arena, the home of Bayer Leverkusen. And it's the European Darts Open, the conclusion of the second round that will set up the last 16 tomorrow afternoon. The final day of the tournament, when we will play all the way through to the final, with £25,000 going to the winner and the first Euro Tour title of the year. Tonight, we've got 8 games for you, 16 men in action, 10 of them are major champions, 7 of them have won Euro Tours before. And we start with the first ever Polish tour card holder in the PDC against a former European champion. It is the Pole versus the beard that is out of control as Tytus Kanik takes on Simon Whitlock. Paul Nicholson alongside me, Dan Dawson, for the opening game of the night, which will also see Michael van Gerwen, Peter Wright, the top 2 in the world, as well as the world champion Rob Cross against the 2-time world title winner Adrian Jackpot Lewis.
First leg, it's Simon to throw first. Game on!
You get an idea how tall Tytus Kanik is when you put him next to Simon Whitlock. Simon Whitlock is tall, but he's nowhere near as tall as the Pole.
It's a big pole.
Nickname should be Totem.
Yeah, Totem's a good nickname. As it is, it's Tito. Not quite sure how you pronounce it. It's written on the back of his shirt. Tito, probably.
We'll get to the bottom of that. Whitlock, of course, using the torpedo darts, as he's been using for a little while. Had a little spell without them at the back end of last year. Convinced by a few other people to get back to what was good. But he's been trimming his flights a lot lately. He's been trimming the tops off to start with. Then he realised that wasn't working, so he started trimming the sides off. And now he's got a kite-shaped fast flight at the top of the dart now.
He's not been using that approach to his beard, has he? Looking more like Brian Blessed nowadays than ever before.
100.
He's taken the Merv Hughes approach and really gone to town with it. It's like he had Miracle Grow put through his beard and it's gone really, really fast.
It's a fast start to this one for Tytus Kanik.
27.
Only one treble needed for a dart. Oh, well, no, that's gone.
77.
Tytus Kanik in his last game was hitting some good doubles. So this 64 will have to go. 8 or 16. 16 for that double 16. Very good start from the Wizard. Played all right on Thursday, Simon Whitlock. Ultimately to no avail. But looks a bit more energised in the last few days after a few brutal weeks on the Pro Tour.
Yeah, he did average 104 against Gary Anderson in Glasgow, taking on not only Gary but 10,000 rabid Glaswegian fans.
140.
And it was probably his second best performance in the Premier League this season in terms of numbers, second only to his incredible opening week when he beat Mentor Suljovic with an average of about 106. But he was beaten, and so he has been struggling over the last few weeks to pick up points in the Premier League. Managed to get one against Super Chin, Darrell Gurney, another major champion we'll be seeing tonight.
139.
He's on the way in the next game against Ron Meulenkamp. Winner of this one will face Dave Chisnell. We saw him win this afternoon against Marco Cantilo, an afternoon that saw 4 seeded players go out in their opening games. The second round is when the seeded players enter the tournament.
Well, Simon Whitlock does have experience of dropping out of the seeds and then having to go to qualifiers before Pro Tours in the United Kingdom. Had success there, but also had a couple of misses. And he said out loud that he didn't want to go back to qualifiers. He wants to remain a seed. So in order for him to do that, he's got to win matches like this. Another one of those. He probably would have gone for it because he does like a bull finish. But that may have done him a favour because now he can just set it up the way he wants it.
136.
Yeah, leave himself the double 14. After holding the throw pretty impressively with a 15 darter. This for a 13, 14 or 15 dart break. 13 it is, and the Wizard starting this one strongly, 107 average.
Game on.
Where do you stand on the whole Simon Whitlock, it's time for a new shirt business?
I don't know. I think it's quite distinctive. I like it. I think he's got his own... Look, I mean, Simon Whitlock could go out there in a string vest and it would be the least distinctive aspect of his on-stage persona. When you've got that hair and that beard, it doesn't really matter what you wear.
Are you trying to make him more Australian than he actually is? Because if he's wearing a singlet and a pair of thongs, as they say in Australia, then all he needs is a couple of shrimp and a barbie.
Well, he is a guy... He practices at home barefoot, doesn't he?
Yep. That might have something to do with the fact that he has had ankle trouble, so he tends to wear shoes as little as he possibly can. He had a real tough time of it, funny enough. He'd been wearing the same black trainers for darts for many, many years. Then they stopped making them. He tried everything to find more pairs of them. Failed to do so, so he tried shoes for a little bit. Felt he was just getting a little bit too much pain.
99.
And now he's found another pair of comfortable shoes that he can walk around in all day. And it has made a big difference to his game because he has played well the last couple of years.
Yeah, well, it was a real renaissance from Whitlock starting round about October time in 2016. He won 5 titles in about as many months. As Kanik leaves himself 170.
Here we see the comfortable shoes within the rules. They do state that the foot attire of the dart player has to be all black or all brown. It has to be a shoe.
170.
It has to be a trainer. It has to be all black with no markings of branding.
134. Simon Uruguay, 138.
Now, a big 3-dart combination checkout. It was so often Whitlock's calling card when he was playing at his best.
42.
But he's not threatened to take that one out, and Kanik can get the break of throw straight back.
It's the right height for him. Is it? Yes, it is.
On the third leg, Tytus
Banged his mark, and when he did, it was right in the middle.
Game on.
Not many people who throw down at double 18, are there?
Vincent Campos does.
Yes. Vincent Campos is the only dart player you can see on Google Maps. He's a big lad.
What are they putting in the milk in continental Europe?
121.
Quite a lot of the staff here doing this program who are very, very tall. Must be something in the cheese in Holland.
182.
Good start from Whitlock.
Well,
59.
there is a saying, you know, if at first you don't succeed, try again. With Tytus Kanik, when it comes to qualifying for Euro Tour events, you can add another 17 more tries to that saying. Because he tried 19 times to get on one of these, and he failed every single time.
137.
Until the start of this year, when he only played 2 of the first 3 qualifiers, and he won them both.
So what you're saying, Dan, is this today and this weekend is a rather big deal for him.
It is a big deal for him, but having won his tour card as well. I mean, Tytus Kanik has gone from being a bloke whose name he used to see on qualifiers getting beaten at some point and not doing a great deal else, to a guy who's been good enough to get his tour card, been winning games on the Pro Tour, qualifying for this, won his opening game against Jana Dekkera with some very good finishing, and at the minute he's holding his own against a former European champion, Simon Whitlock, and I'm not quite sure how he's suddenly
63.
Suddenly just taking this huge step forward as Whitlock misses the ball and Kanik has a chance to level the match.
Needs to find a treble 20. Or that for double 15. Oh,
89.
good thinking. Very good thinking. Very intelligent board management that. Couldn't see the 60, so tried an alternative and it nearly paid off. With double 8 for Whitlock now. Right on the outside wire of that double 8. Gets him a 3-1 lead.
Game on.
I'm with you, Dan. Kanik giving a really good try over the last couple of years. Failed a lot. But this year, real breakthrough. And it just goes to show the effect of Eastern European darts and the Nordic and Baltic region as well. They are getting better. And is it time for them to get more than one spot, potentially?
Well, I mean, that's almost a separate argument. The thing that that astounds me, and not astounds me because you do see it in other players, but it's rare how a player can be playing for a good 2 or 3 years and not really be showing any signs that they can be a danger in big tournaments, and then suddenly something clicks. And the guy that immediately springs to mind of late is Robert Owen, who went and made the semi-finals of the UK Open. In his first 2 years on the PDC Tour, he could barely win a game. And now he looks dangerous, and we first saw it here on the European Tour last year, where he started throwing round about that 100 mark in the averages and looking dangerous and beating players that he was never beating before.
I totally agree with you, because I played him in qualifying a few years ago and I won very simply, and I thought,
100.
He's got a bit of work to do. But then I saw him in the Dutch Masters last year where he played Simon Whitlock, and I thought, is that the same player? I actually had to look back in the statistics, and it was the same guy, because the sheer hard work that Robert's put in, look at where he is now. I applaud it.
Yeah, it just shows you what determination can do. Oh, everybody who steps on this stage has got talent, we know that. But being able to produce it when you need it, it's a different matter entirely. Some players never, ever manage to do it. Some players look like they're never going to do it, and then suddenly something seems to click. And maybe that's what's happened for Tytus Kanik over the last few months.
He's got 118 to reduce the deficit. Can't find the treble. So Whitlock looking at a straight ton.
100.
How much he would love to have 2 darts at tops. Will get 2 darts at tops. Slight adjustment because the dart's very upright, and it's a picture perfect, very linear 2 darts.
To throw first. Game on.
If he'd have stuck a piece of thread down from the 20 through the middle, he probably would have broken it twice. 2 absolutely perfect darts
100.
from Whitlock.
Yeah, and it does give him a commanding 4-1 lead, and even though it feels like a game where Kanik has been holding his own against the former European champion, and the averages suggest that, they're both averaging around the 93, 94 mark. There you see, in fact Tytus has got a slightly higher average than Whitlock, and this will push it a bit further
140.
up. Whitlock's finishing has been the key. He is 4 out of 5 on his doubles. Tytus has only hit 1 of the 4 attempts he's had, and that is the difference.
96.
Whitlock has not smashed him off the board for this 4-1 lead, but he's taken his chances and he's done so expertly.
Well, with his old darts, Whitlock was deadly on his doubles. That's one of the reasons why he got the reputation that he had. But over the course of the last 18 months, I'd say, with these tapered darts, starting to sharpen up on doubles. One of the reasons why he's become more of a threat in tournaments. He's going to have to go some in this leg to get this leg, though. 205 behind. Tytus on tops. Like I said before, about double 18. It's the right height for him.
42. Tytus require 40.
Well, banging his eye line.
Game shot
Right there.
Tytus Kanik.
First time he's managed to hold his throw in this one. It's a 13 darter as well. And, you know, his average is now up at almost 97. And you can't say it's been a poor performance from Kanik, but it's going to have to be very, very good to turn it around from here against Whitlock.
Who's going to be the next one to come through? We have to ask the question, because you've got Ratajski, who had a decent run on the Challenge Tour today.
Semi-finalist in the first one, yeah.
Unbelievably, the guy hasn't got a tour card, but he's got a PDC title this year. Still trying to wrap my head around that.
137.
Could it be Paul Shikeli, who kind of beat in qualifying? I'm a huge fan of Boris Koltsov, who we will see on the European Tour this year. The lad from Russia. I'm a mate of Boris and a very big admirer of his game. He's played some good stuff today on the Challenge Tour. Watch out for Boris Koltsov.
Boris Koltsov on the Challenge Tour today threw an average in his opening game, or his second game, one of them, of 112. Now, I know it's a slightly shorter format, but still, 112 average. Boris Koltsov was actually beaten twice in the 2 Euro Tour qualifiers that Tytus Kanik played by Tytus Kanik. But he does, you know, he's been around for a while, Boris, and a lot of people have been saying that he's got talent. He might be one to watch out for, because he has signed with one of the darts manufacturers. He's signed with one of the management companies, and there is talk of him moving over and giving it a go at some point in the near future.
Who beat him today as well? Christoph Ratajski. 148 for Whitlock.
It's not going to go, and is this the way back into the match that Tytus Kanik needed?
60.
Well, it seems to have just dropped off a little bit for Simon, whereas Kanik is starting to up his game a little bit. Double 16 now. Double 8 for a very different game.
58.
And you'll want that dart back.
Simon Uruguay, 88.
This 88 from Whitlock is very important.
Well, he had a crack at 88 earlier on and missed the ball. But he doesn't miss it this time, and he knows how important that one is. Bullseye finish for Simon Whitlock, puts him a leg away from the last 16 in a meeting with Dave Chisnell.
That's what he does. Doubles percentage will have improved.
81.
That's a very good kill, and you could see that hurt Tytus Kanik. He should have won that leg, but he didn't. The brilliance of Whitlock, and the best thing about that 88 combination was the fact he didn't mess around with the treble. He went for the single 18, guaranteed a shot at the bull, and he pierced it.
Yeah, well, Whitlock, the combination
58.
finishes often on the bullseye. That's what really caught the eye, as well as the obviously bonkers stage image that he had when he first switched
81.
over to the PDC. Went on to make the final of the Worlds at Ali Pali, only beaten by Phil Taylor, but I mean, he used to hit 170 checkouts for fun, seemingly. He was the
59.
most likely person in the world to take out a 170 checkout for a long while.
It was almost like a gimme. If he was on 170, you'd think, well, that's leg over.
97.
I still go back to when he played James Wade in the quarter-final, and he took out 170 and 150 in the same set. One of the best sets of darts I've ever
95.
witnessed, because of the fact that James had just drawn level. He'd hit Whitlock with everything he had, then Whitlock's response was legendary.
Yeah, and that's a maximum for Simon Whitlock to put him on the brink of victory. Second 180 for Whitlock leaves him 44. A man who has won the European Championship outright.
44.
He nearly defended the title. He was only beaten in the final the following year by Adrian Lewis. Double 16 completes a 6-2 win. Tytus Kanik has averaged nearly 95 there, and he has forced Simon Whitlock into a world-class display of finishing. He only missed one dart at double in that entire game, the Wizard. Magical stuff from the Australian. He is through, and if he finishes like that over the course of tomorrow's games, he has a chance of becoming a European champion or Euro Tour champion once more. First game done, the number 8 seed through. It's the man who beat him in the Grand Prix final last year. Darrell Gurney on the way next against Ron the Bomb Muhlenkamp.
Looked a little bit too easy.